Hi, I'm Samuel Varghese, and this is Tools for Storytelling. In this episode, we'll be talking with Johnni and Kayana about sexism on set.
And action.
I was on set for a commercial, and I was super excited about it, and because I hadn't done a lot of commercial work, and I get on set, and I knew a few of the people I knew some people going in, so I was like, okay, I'll cling to those people, and they'll introduce me to everyone, and they were really good about it. The people that I knew were really awesome. They were men, and they were really great, and they had gotten me the job, and I was very grateful for that. This is an example of a small thing. I went to get mic'd, and I go up to the guy who's micing everyone, and he hands one guy his mic and is like, oh, I labeled this Fred, which is his character's name. And he goes to another guy, and he's like, oh, I labeled this Danny or whatever. And he gets to me, and he goes, I labeled this girl. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know if it was because, he didn't remember my name, but like the character that I was playing had a name.
Okay.
And he totally disregarded that and put girl. And I know that's a small thing.
But that makes you feel like you're there to be the girl, not to play a part.
I was the token girl in the commercial, and I felt that.
And that reinforces the idea of value, which I think is where I feel. I will see a man come onto set and they're immediately treated with inherent respect. I walk in and I say, okay, prove it. Earn it.
And it doesn't encompass every man in every workplace, in every job that we've ever been a part of, because, especially as I have started to filter through who I'm working with and making sure that the people that I work with hold the standards that I have and are going to view me as an equal as I view them.
Yeah.
I have found that since applying that filter, I've found people that will treat me as an equal, men that will treat me as if I am irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And they see the value, and they don't see me as another woman that is funny, or she's the funny girl that we need. They see me as, no, this is a talented individual who can do the job just as good as I can.
The people that we work with now have heard our stories, have heard what makes us uncomfortable, have heard us say, you didn't see it, but this happened right in front of you. And men who are okay when you say, hey, that's kind of condescending.
Right.
And men who are willing to learn and to look and listen. And we've gotten better by having women who say, no, go ask for it. Tell them that you know that you're not being paid as much.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Right.
But it's really hard. It's scary. It's really, really scary because
it's the way it's been for so long.
Right.
It feels like you're rocking a boat that doesn't need to be rocked, or that's how when you tell somebody who maybe hasn't been affected by it, I'll talk to my guy friends somebody treated me on set like this, or somebody in this show treated me like this, or whatever. It's like, well, gotta roll with the punches. And I'm like, no, you can't.
That might be true if that was your experience 1 out of 10 times on set.
Right.
Sure.
But when it's every time on set, you're like, well, at a certain point, I have to tell people that I deserve to be treated a certain way.
Right.
And it's as someone equal and valuable and that you're willing to pay. If you're paying me, treat me like I'm worth paying and worth being here. I'm not a burden, and I'm not being pitied. You asked me to do this. Don't make me feel bad that I'm now doing this. This is a symbiotic relationship. We're getting something out of it.
Right.
I remember the first time that I did a job where I truly felt... I felt like how maybe a man feels when he's funny and talented and handsome and he comes on set and everyone's like, wow. I felt like that for a second, or for one job, because I got on set and I happened to be working with a bunch of really great people, just people that were gonna see me for what I could bring to the table. And they're laughing at my jokes, and I'm improvising on screen, and they are all like, oh, that's amazing, Kayana, keep doing that. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And I was going around just being like, thank you. You guys are so nice. And they're like, what? And I'm like, this is honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like, everyone is so kind and welcoming. And it was a revelation for me because I had never had that sort of treatment before.
Wow.
Or I'd never been treated like, you know, we paid you to be here so that because we know that you can do this work and you're good at it. And I had never felt like that. I had always felt like Johnny was saying, when you get on set, like, okay, now I have to earn it. Now I have to earn what I already earned.
Right.
You know,
after
like
they hired you.
Right? Yeah. I literally left and told everyone. I was like, this was amazing.
Yeah,
I was like, I never want to work with anyone else because this was so cool.
And what's interesting is that's what the women I've talked to, that's the experience they remember. They don't remember the first time that they felt like the other. They remember the first time that they felt like one of the crew and one of the cast. And that's when all of a sudden the way you view your experiences begin to go, oh, hold on, this hasn't been good. Because I thought for a long time that I was one of the, like, I was like, people treat me well. I'm pretty respected. And very recently I got to write, produce, direct some sketches. And on set, the crew were asking me to look at the shots.
As the
director,
producer, director.
No one had ever asked me to look at the camera.
Yeah.
I had never even thought I could ask that. Because I thought, no, I said they were in charge of the camera. That would be impolite. That would be me overstepping. But I know what I wanted it to look like.
Right.
And I found myself being able to say, no, I don't like that shot. Let's set it up differently.
For the first time.
For the first time ever. And these people didn't say, oh, they said, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you. I want it to look the way you want it to.
Right.
And to be able to tell a cast, like, hey, can you quiet down and not have guys, oh, look at here, little Miss Adolf, which I have been called.
Wow.
And I thought, we're fun. We joke with each other. But people go, okay. And then afterwards, in the break room, still be nice to me and still treat me like I was their friend and I was someone they were collaborating with. And it really threw me for a loop. That and like, wow, you guys said my lines.
Right.
My lines, the ones I wrote. You didn't make it up. You didn't come in completely unmemorized and say it the way you want.
Sure.
And the people doing the cinematography didn't decide, actually, we're going to rearrange the script. If there was ever any change that was needed was, okay, I think that this isn't going to work just because of the pacing. It was, is that okay? If it's not, we'll make it work. Just, I was wondering if maybe you think that would work better. It's just an option.
Right.
I had never felt that. And I had thought it was because, oh, well, it was back in college where I'm like, I'm not like, you know, I don't have seniority. But if I wrote it and I'm directing it, I have seniority.
Like who else?
Right.
I have seniority. Yeah.
Right.
And it really threw me for a loop because I had looked on those experiences as very positive ones.
Right.
And they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't necessarily incredibly negative.
Sure.
But
Again, it's the little things.
but I wasn't treated like, not only was I not treated as an equal, but I was a higher position on set and I was treated like the bottom.
Right. I think about the other end of things, and there seems to be this sort of idealism, at least in the film program that we were in.
Yeah.
This idealism for like auteur directors, to where it's like, well, sure, you have a camera op, but like the director's pretty much like running the camera constantly. And sure, you have someone like doing this other job, but the director's doing that as well.
Right.
And like the director's doing everything, but like when he is doing that, it's sort of like praised and like, well, like he's an auteur. Like it's classy, it's sophisticated to have your hand in like all the pockets,
To be in control.
Yeah. And then so to have that like idealized on one side, and on the other end of things, like you're like, could I see the camera? It's just, it's such a weird.
Men don't get called bossy.
Right. Yeah.
They get called like they're strict, but they know what they're doing.
They know what they want.
Women are bossy or bitchy.
Right.
When they do that. And I told, I think Kayana, before I went into it, I was really nervous about like, I want to ride that line between this is supposed to, you know, we don't know how much we're going to be able to pay our performers or anybody on set. So I don't want to like rule with an iron fist when people are like, come on, I'm working for pizza here. But at the same time, I wanted to get done.
Yeah.
I wanted to get done and I want it to look good. And so I stressed about how am I going to talk to people? And that's not something I worry about. ever.
Yeah.
But I was really worried about it because I didn't want to be bossy,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to do what I had done before of like, yeah, whatever you think. So as we went in and we were asking those questions if we're being too hard, like, let's worry about what we want. And if they're going to respond poorly, I don't want to work with that person.
Yeah.
And the few times, like, if we ever had any sense that something wasn't working out well, it was a conversation. How do we reach out to this person in a way that they understand? Because we wanted to be able to do what we wanted to do. We didn't want the quality of our show to suffer because we were scared of stepping on toes.
Totally.
And that came with being really careful of picking an amazing cast.
Right.
But I don't know how successful that would have been if we hadn't had control of a cast, if we had just been given
Sure.
Right.
whoever.
Was there an event or a point in time that kind of caused you guys to say, okay, from here on out, this is our filter, like you mentioned earlier. Here's our sort of like bylines of how we work and with whom we work, and that kind of coming to the forefront more of the way you guys work.
A very close friend and coworker, if you will, somebody that I performed and did comedy with, we found out that he was an abuser and he had sexually assaulted somebody that we had known or that we know. And we both confronted him with it, and the truth was brought to light. And I immediately, Johnny wasn't in the troupe, but I immediately stepped away from the troupe and was like, we had a performance coming up that was a paid gig, was really excited about it. And I was like, I cannot perform with you. And we've been talking to our people in the industry who we know that know him. We've just gone through and told them, like, if this is the type of person that you're going to let work on your projects, or that you're going to let be in your show or whatever, like, we won't work with you, we won't work with him.
Yeah.
And like, you are, I mean, and it's sad because you do have to burn contacts and you do have to step away from people, like people that you've worked with for years and people that you love and like that you went to school with. You have to walk away from those people. And that was probably the first time that I've ever had to like truly be like, okay, I'm going to have to cut people off.
And we had hoped that there would be a time within the future where we'd feel like this is someone we can work with again and we could vouch for. We could say, we know this is they've struggled with this, they will never struggle with it again. When they made it apparent that they weren't, we had said we weren't going to tell people, we weren't going to talk to people.
Right.
And we started to realize, why not? This is a safety issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
If this person is showing signs that they are not working to make sure that never happens again,
Sure.
they are a safety issue.
The last 4 months have been like really, really freaking hard.
Since December.
And yeah, since December have been really hard. I will say though that it has activated a lot of good in that like other people have come forward about abuse from this person who haven't been able to talk about it before. And then it's also really propelled Johnny and I into this phase of life of like, no, the people who we choose to work with are going to be good and they're going to have the sort of standards that we do and they're going to treat us equally, and that's it. And I mean, we have legitimately told people since then, like, sorry, we can't work with you, or, you know, burned a contact only to go searching for somebody else and searching for other people.
There are so many people who want to do this.
Yeah.
And it is one of the easiest times to get good at it. It's really easy to get good at it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to be picky. I want to feel really good about everybody I work with. I want to be able to brag about you. I want to be able to say, like, I would take them to meet my family. Because I can.
Yeah. Our industry is one that seems to involve a little bit more relationship and intimacy than perhaps the average 9 to 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
To where that does become important, and that is something that, you know, Rebecca and I talk about. We'd rather hire a good, virtuous, moral, upstanding person over the person who's like has the perfect look and is like highly trained or
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
but is gonna make for a unsafe work environment.
Every decision you make with this specific career choice reflects who you are. And that is in every person you work with, all the words that you write, every word that comes out of your mouth. It is all reflective of your beliefs and who you choose to associate yourself with is directly related to what you believe in.
Sure.
And there have been men who have, people have come out and said, hey, you were inappropriate to me on set, and there's a difference. Well, that was back then, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Big
Tell me
difference.
what I can do.
As people are telling stories, creating, doing things with often their friends, and people they are in a relationship with, what are the warning signs for everyone sort of keeping each other sort of like up to par and creating a healthy work atmosphere?
Is there a group of people who are constantly being interrupted on set? Or who their opinions aren't being asked while other people's opinions are? Those are two things I see. Women will get interrupted and they won't be asked questions. Is there affirmation given one way and not another? Good job, good job, good job. Back to Mark. That you feel that. And it's not just you, other people feel it. And that says something. That says something about your value. Is value being distributed equally based on that position? Are those people who are being heard also listening? Those are like big ones for me.
One for me is just if you are in charge of picking a cast or a crew or whatever, making sure that you have a variety of voices.
If you're looking around your crew and it's men and it's white, ask why. And if the answer is, well, these are the people I like to work with, that's not not it.
Change that answer.
That's not it. Because I'll hear that is, well, this woman isn't getting paid this because this person is more valuable. How? In what ways? If you have a group of people that you think are irreplaceable, take a step back. Nobody's irreplaceable. And if you're going to treat one person like they're irreplaceable, better be treating everybody.
We talked about the warning signs, and so I think that kind of leads into what to do. So I think the three questions are what to do if you are someone who's heard, what to do if you're someone who's not heard, and also what to do if speaking up means cutting opportunities and cutting ties with people, because there's both men and women that we've known that don't speak up because of that fear of losing opportunity and losing those ties.
If you're someone who doesn't have a voice, share. Start with the people that you know don't. If you're a woman, share with other women. Start sharing with people of color. Start sharing with people who you know probably kind of feel the way you do. And start sharing with the people that you feel safe with.
If you're thinking about cutting ties or having to burn a contact, you think about like how they've treated other people around you, and it becomes a lot easier.
Like at the end of the day, is an opportunity worth your integrity? Is an opportunity worth somebody feeling marginalized, feeling forgotten, feeling erased? And if that opportunity is still tempting, then you have a conversation on your hands. I'm not saying that you have to just not work with people. Talk to them. I'm worried that you do this, and I want this opportunity, but I don't feel right about it. If you feel like you have to cut somebody out because they're doing this, tell them why.
Yeah.
It's hard, it sucks, but if you know the truth and you know what's right, how can you regret that? What opportunity is worth knowing that you are lifting people up? And you will be lifted up. Those people will rally to your side. And if you truly believe that no one is irreplaceable, then losing this one opportunity isn't going to ruin you, because you're going to get people who appreciate that that's the kind of person you are.
Right. Yeah.
I have never felt more equal in my relationships. And it's because I didn't even demand it. I just told them I didn't feel it. I just told them why. I didn't say you need to now. I don't feel like I am. And it's really amazing. and to produce a sketch show where we said we're going with our ethics before anything else, and for it to succeed.
Right. Yeah. You guys held your standard high with everything that we've talked about, and created. You were able to hire a cast and crew to put on a sketch comedy show with both live and digital sketches, and to sell out the house.
And for people to want more and to ask, when's your next show? Because we thought, holding up all these standards, what's going to suffer? And nothing did. If anything, we felt better. We felt that was better than selling out. But selling out was a really cool.
Also, it won't always be like that,
Sure.
but it's okay.
Man, the feeling of loving what we did and loving who we did it with and feeling like it was airtight, that was better than
Well, and
selling
being
out.
able to say, because, I mean, as a woman, you think, like, if I do hold my standards high, like, I'm probably not going to be able to do this. And, like, I need those men. I need that guy to do this because he's always been a part of things. And then to do things without those people and them to be way better than anything you've done before is such a good feeling, because then it's like, you know what? No, I don't need those people. And I can do things of my own accord, and we can do things of our own accord. And it's so freeing. It's so freeing. So
Yeah. That's our hope, is that if you do it, you'll live with yourself. And when you're your best self, you will produce your best work.
I hope you found this information helpful in your pursuit of tools for storytelling. If you have, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.